Welcome back to another tutorial. It's me again in the flesh. Just want to give you a big thumbs up if you've made it this far in this series. You've learned a lot and you can do a lot. But if you are ready to level up your game, you might be itching to import your own graphics and music and sounds and so forth. And that's what this tutorial is going to be all about. But in order to do that, you need to have Platform Builder Pro. So before we get into it, a quick word from our sponsor, me. You should get Platform Builder Pro. Seriously, it supports what we do in our work with Platform Builder. It unlocks everything we have to offer, and you can get it for like the price of a bag of potato chips. If you want, you can buy it directly from Steam, or if you want more of the proceeds to go support what we do, then go to theplatformbuilder.com and you'll see an option to buy Pro from there. When you do it that way, an email will be sent to you with a code that you can then use to unlock Platform Builder Pro on Steam. All right, enough of that. Let's get into it. Okay, importing assets is pretty easy. It all happens inside Game Setup. Of course, you can get there from the menu or press P on your keyboard to open Game Setup. Right away, we see many different places we can go to import our own resources. You can import music, backgrounds, sprites, which are images used for items, blocks, enemies, and stuff like that. Sprite sheets, which is like modding the graphics of the pre-built stuff inside Platform Builder. And tiles, which are things like ground pieces. Also, under sound effects, you have some controls to import there too. Let's just work through this, starting with music. This takes me to a music manager, so I'll create a new track and enter in. When it comes to importing music, it's super basic. This is where I select the music file that I want to import into my game. You'll notice that it has to be an OGG file, and there's reasons for that I don't want to get into, but this means if you have a WAV or MP3 or something, you'll need to convert it to OGG first. Plenty of websites can do this for you for free. When you have your OGG file there, you can play it to make sure it works. Sweet. And you can even add an introduction if you want. That would be like a short beginning of a track that plays once, and then it moves to the main body of the music, which just loops on repeat. Like in Happy 4. You got your introduction, and then the part that just loops over and over. Without an introduction, the whole thing would just loop. And maybe that's what you want for your imported music. It depends on the song you're trying to bring in. Okay, X out. And then under Music, you'll see a button for Manager, and that's how you select it. Now, this will play for your level when you run it. P for Game Setup. If you want to import a custom background, it works the same, except there's a lot more controls here, which you can explore by right-clicking on stuff. The big thing is that we have multiple layers. Maybe you noticed how many of the built-in backgrounds of Platform Builder have different layers or elements. Closer elements move faster with the view, and farther elements move slower with the view. This is called parallax scrolling, and it gives a sense of depth. If you want to break up your background into different layers like this, you can do that, or you can import just one flat image and call it good. Again, once the background is ready, then you'll see the manager appear under Backgrounds, and that's how you select it. Every background image will tile or repeat itself horizontally, but for areas, you have the option to tile it vertically. If you don't tile it vertically, then the top left color of your background image will be the color displayed above it. Sometimes you might want a background image that is the same size as your view, like in the title screen editor. Maybe you want a background that looks like it's made to fit against the border, so you wonder, what size do I need to make the background? Well, it depends on your view distance and graphic size. So here's the chart. By default, games start in 2x graphic size. So if you don't know, it's probably that. Your view distance is found in the settings of each area and overworld of your game. So let's say you've got a title screen, the game size is 2x graphics, and your view distance is 4. We need a background image that is 1440 by 810. Lucky for us, I have one already made. So I'll return to Game Setup, create a second background, import the image, and then back at the title screen, let's drop it in. Since backgrounds begin in the bottom left of your levels, let's make sure that the view is positioned at the bottom left. Look at that. Fits perfectly. P for game setup. Next we have import sprites and import sprite sheets. Again, sprites are the images of your game. So it's the stuff that you see when you look at items or enemies or blocks or projectiles or whatever. If you want to add more sprites to your game, then go to import sprites, or if you want to change some of the built-in sprites of Platform Builder, then you'll go to sprite sheets. If we go to import sprites, again, you make your sprite and enter in. There are many tools you can right-click to learn about. You can, of course, import a simple image for your sprite, but if you want animated sprites, then you'll need to use what is called a sprite strip. Once again, this is a single image, but each frame of your animation is placed side by side in that image. In this case, I have a 64 by 64 sprite with 4 images in the animation. So the width of the image file is precisely 4 times the width of each frame. It's 256 by 64. Once everything is ready, you'll be able to select your sprite for custom enemies, items, projectiles, etc. In this case, I have an item sprite, so I'll make a custom item and assign the sprite to it. You can also place sprites directly in your game as either a background image or a foreground image. So take your pick, click down here to open your manager, select the sprite, and then place it down. Sprite sheets work a little differently. There's no manager this time. You just look for what you want to change, download the template, modify the template, and then import it back to the same place you got it from. I already did that work, so I'll just import the new image. In this case, most everything I left the same, but for this enemy called Grouper, I shifted the hue to make him more camouflaged with green levels. So this will be his new look game-wide, and you'll see that if you place him down in a level. Any sprites which you can change are done from import sprite sheets, except for character sprite sheets. Character sprite sheets are handled from the character designer. So if you want to change that, you'll have to go to the designer, export your sprite sheet, make your changes, and throw it back in from there. You can also go over here to change individual sprites of your character. In this case, you'll pull them from your sprite manager. Next, we have sound effects. With sound effects, you have the ability to replace current sound effects with an OGG file of your choosing. Or you can open the sound effect manager and create new sound effects which you import sounds to, and then you would play those extra sound effects using the command prompt. If you don't already know how commands work, you can go to theplatformbuilder.com/commands and learn all about it. But that's also going to be discussed later in this tutorial series. Last would be your custom tiles. Importing tiles is similar to importing sprites, except instead of a single image for one thing, you have a single image that's divided up into a bunch of things. The most common use for tiles would be ground pieces. I have a simple tile set here that I'd like to try. So I'll pop that in. Make sure Platform Builder knows how to split it up. X out. And then in my item box, I can select imported tile sets, open the manager, choose my tile set, and then I'm ready to go. Select my tile, place it down, click back down here, or press T to open it back up, choose the next tile, place it down. I could press T twice to throw it in the corner. Hopefully you remember that trick. When it comes to imported tiles, there's a problem we can easily forget. If I place a character down and test it out, he falls right through. You think, what? Oh yeah, tiles are just images. Platform Builder doesn't know that they are meant to be solid pieces. So all you have to do is place invisible solid blocks over your tiles. And there you go. If you want to change to a different tile set, go back here, and now near the bottom, select Different Tile Set, and that will open your manager back up. In this case, we only have one tile set, so there's nothing else to select. Now, the built-in ground tiles of Platform Builder are super nice because you don't need invisible solid blocks. There's expand tiles, and of course it works with the Smart tool. So if you find yourself missing those features, you can actually bring them back. The only thing is you have to use the template. This will give you the image file for standard ground tiles in Platform Builder. You can open that up and change it around, then import the tiles as another tile set. In this case, I have something pre-made. So we didn't complete the template, and that's fine. I don't intend to use those other tiles for my game, but the most important part is right here. Select Ground Behavior. That's the magic button. Now you have all those nice features back. But here's the thing with tiles. If I'm blending pixels under game settings, I might see some undesirable lines in between my tiles. This is just a reality of how pixels are blended together on computers. In order to get rid of this, you'll have to add a color buffer or bleed around your tiles. So the color of every pixel at the edge of your tiles needs to extend out a bit beyond the edge of your tiles. There are programs out there which can do that for you. I use what's called Tileset Champion. It's a free program. I didn't make it, but lately it's been difficult to find a download online, so I threw it in on our own server. Go to theplatformbuilder.com/tilesetchampion to download. It might give you a warning of a suspicious download. This isn't a common program, and it's a random direct download exe file, but it's fine. I already have it unzipped here. So you open the exe file. Select the source file that you want to add the color buffer to. Then you'll need to import the details. Two should be fine for the buffer size, and then generate. Now, back in Platform Builder, we import that tile set, set it up. Since we have a buffer of 2, that makes the whole set offset by 2, and between tiles will be a separation of 4. There we go. Let's go back to the area and try it out. And with our new color buffer, we won't be seeing those lines showing up between our tiles. One last note before we wrap up. If you want to publish your games to the Explore section, then avoid importing images or sounds that you don't have the rights to use. This could result in your game not getting approved. Speaking of which, the next video of this tutorial series will be about playing your completed games, publishing them to the Explore section, and exporting them to share with others. I'll see you there.